Hello, boys.
Here he is.
Gotcha, lads.
Oh, that's good.
How are you, boys?
Going good.
Excellent. Now, Matthew, let's cut to the chase because we've been waiting for this moment.
Yep.
And we will talk a lot of rugby league. That's fine. That's coming up.
The Lotus that is white?
Yes, the Lotus of the white variety. Here we go. Now, you come up with a novel idea, Brian.
Well, look, listeners, we don't want to do a spoiler, but we're going to give what happened, and you got to guess which one is correct.
So we've all seen the ending.
Yeah, we'll all see the ending.
Yes.
What happens in the ending? Matthew, you go first.
Okay, well, the big conjecture was around who was going to be the shooter. That's what was all, and everyone had their own theories. And as it turned out, as we know, Arnold Schwarzenegger's son, isn't it? What's his
Saxon.
name in the episode?
Saxon?
Jackson.
No, Saxon.
Saxon. Well, Saxon's in it. Well, as we know, there was an interesting incident between him and his brother, of which, understandably, Saxon, who sees himself as a real ladies' man, a real pants man, was horrified if it get. And what happened was Uncle Rico, who was the bad guy who had the woman, Gary, who had the woman killed. He knew about it, of course, because his partner was there, and he said to Saxon, "Mate, I need you to do something for me, or I'm going to tell the world about you and your brother." And of course, he went on a shooting rampage, in particular to shoot the woman who was going to open up, was trying to get the money out of him for to build a health retreat or a spa.
Yeah,
Saxon was our man.
Yeah, that sounds very, very unlikely. So what basically happened was Belinda, who's the massage lady, she got her son to go and have sex with Gary's girlfriend because Gary's girlfriend wanted to have a sex in front of him. Yeah. While this is all going on, Gary was peering at Xeon going to town with the French lady.
Yes.
While Belinda, the massage therapist, snuck upstairs, went onto his laptop, stole every single bit of his $500 million US. Unfortunately, he found out. The goons, as we like to call them, came over, chased her back to the hotel, and just went on a shooting rampage. That is the answer. Good night, Australia.
Boys, Mike White would be proud of those endings, right? But you're defaming what he really did. And what happened was, as you know, the family from Texas, Piper is committed to Buddhism. And she dragged along her brother, Lachlan. Now, Piper has told the family she's staying, and Lachlan is also staying, to which he had to cleanse his soul. So he told his mother, right? Oh, no, paper. He tells the mother what had happened between he and the brother. Yeah. So her head's completely off.
That's not true.
Then she walks into the room, and unfortunately, what the dad had been threatening to do for episode after episode, he does that. So now you've got to think about this. She's been off her meds the whole time. Her whole family's just lost the plot, and she loses the plot in turn. That's what happened.
Mitch, what's yours?
So Tim, the dad.
Yeah.
Tam, as she likes to call him.
She's a Buddhist.
She's a Buddhist. And obviously he was going to prison for the insider trading. He's been a bit of a bad boy. He's thinking about killing the family a few times. He's losing everything. And then when he finally gets the phone back, it turns out April Fool's prank by someone in the office. And he's been doing. He's almost off the whole family.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mitch. If I'm going to write a thriller, I'm not going to invite you to take it, brother.
Well, this is Matthew. He also had the breastfeeding joke. That's sort of bombed a little bit. Anyway, listener, we'll leave that up to you.
Yep.
Now, Matthew, big news.
Yeah.
It's come to light. Well, it's not official yet, but there's rumours that our favourite halfback at the moment, Isaiah Katoa, is getting itchy feet and he wants to get out of the Dolphins, wants to come back to Sydney. This is what I'm just hearing.
Rumour Tuesday?
Wow.
Rumour Tuesday. Would he, Matthew, he... Okay. Okay. Is there in any world that he ends up at a Sydney club and DCE ends up in the Dolphins and this kid goes to, or could it be a swap? Could it be to Manly? There we go.
Ooh. Very, very possible. Geez, I'll tell you what. If that is true, Fletch, what a blow that would be to the Dolphins, because I mean he's their future.
Yes.
I mean they've got a bloke there who's going to turn into the top three halfbacks in the game, which if you've got one of the top three halfbacks in the game, then you're guaranteed to play finals every year. And so, boy, oh boy, wouldn't that be a negotiation? I imagine the Dolphins will fight tooth and nail to keep him. I suppose they'll let him go, but that's really interesting. And I can, you know what, it wouldn't surprise me at all that the kid would want to come back this way, and particularly for the fact that the Dolphins have been struggling. That would add to it as well. So interesting. Could
a Cleary, a Katoa combination work?
Fletch, my word, it could work. They work beautifully together. And I saw a photo in the paper of those two blokes together, know each other very, very well. Okay, my next question to you blokes is that if Dylan Brown's getting 1.3 a year, we always come back to Dylan Brown, and there's talk about Lockie Galvin getting $1 million a year. Righto. What's Isaiah Katoa worth?
Well, he's got way more upside. He's
21-year-old.
Yep. Who's doing this at 21.
What about your mob deflector?
No, well, they would be in the mix, you would think.
Yep.
But if he's coming home... Now, I'm just hearing... It's just a rumour at this stage. Nothing's official. But wouldn't that be a good story if Penrith just pull this rabbit out of their hat?
Got him.
Oh.
Yeah.
But could he play the six? Could he play the deputy?
Yeah, I think he could, Fletch, because Nathan can play it as well. There's really, a good story. I was talking to Jack Coggart the other day, and I asked him, I said, what happened grand final night when you come on against the Broncos? Jerome had to go off his shoulder, it finally got him, and you went on there. And he said he got onto the field, and he said to Nathan, mate, I'll play first receiver, you play the second tier, and mate, just let me just take the reins for a while and let's just go. And Nathan went, mate, let's do it. So Nathan's more than capable of falling back, playing second banana if he has to for little portions of the game. But no doubt that they could form partnership.
What do you see?
Whether they would fit in the salary cap, don't know. But that's an interesting one because let's face it, Fletch, Joel. If he was to put himself out and said, righto, I'm open for offers, mate, what are we talking? Would you go? Would someone go 3 years, 1.4?
Yes, for sure.
Definitely.
Because if you said in the next 4 years, has Isaiah Katoa won a Dally M? There is a substantial chance that he may have, isn't there? There is more than a decent chance that he has.
Okay, Matthew, I'm going to ask you this. Now, your brother, Andrew Johns, the eighth immortal, at the age of 21, is Isaiah got him covered for maturity or for consistency or organisational?
Okay, I'm just trying to count back what year Joey was. Joey's 74. 1995 when Joey turned 21. That was his breakout year. About halfway through that season, everything started to change with Joey. And then he played a little bit of Origin, but it was the Super League split. Got dropped for the third Origin, but went away on the World Cup tour and got Player of the Tournament. Right.
Okay.
That year was everything changed for Joey. He was 21, but would Isaiah Katoa be capable of doing all that? Like it would, if you said at the end of the season, Isaiah Katoa, they go away at a World Cup, he's retiring and gets Player of the Tournament. Would you be surprised by that? I'd say no, I wouldn't be because what the kid is capable of. I would say I think he's got more composure than Joey did at that age. And mate, he's every bit as good a ball player. Some of his ball playing, when you're watching ball play, fellas, it's like watching 1980s old lock forward. That sort of the way they'd mosey to the line, pause, and just roll their shoulder into a defender and look for a short pass. He's really old school. He's got so much, mate. He's got so much composure. So
no spiral passing. I've seen no spiral. It's like. It's the old, as you say, Matty. It's like the 6 o'clock pass.
He passes the ball like he's a gunslinger, where he's got the balls just vertical to his hips. And that lends itself. People say, why is that important? It's important because short ball players, that's how they should hold the ball. And if you want a fireball torpedo, just roll your wrists over the top. Because I've seen him throw torpedo passes at distance. So he can do both, and that's a rare skill when you can go the line, hold the ball in that sort of gunslinger fashion, hit short or roll the wrists over. That's a mark of a really elite ball player. He can do that. But I mean, look, we know that. We know what he's capable of, mate. Geez, I tell you what, they come out of the woodwork to sign Isaiah. So the ones, I mean, who doesn't need a halfback?
Yeah, I know.
That's the thing about it. Who doesn't need one? Hence the reason I tell you the Dolphins will be having the yarn to his management saying, no, you're not going anywhere. So that's how long has he got to go?
So he signed. I think it was a 4-year deal.
How much, Brian, you reckon?
No, I think it's like the 4-year deal was like 2.5 or something. It's
right.
it's
so
not
600-ish?
yeah.
Okay.
Which was good. Because
Yeah.
it's good when he signed it. I mean, that's great money for a kid when he signed it. Life-changing. But given the fact that, mate, you can double that and a bit now if he went on the market. Boy, oh boy.
All right, who would you...
Our very own Stephen King here, Mitch, he's reporting...
2028.
End of 2028.
Okay, if they're talking Galvin, at now he's a couple of years younger, they're talking $1 million, 1.1. Two different players, obviously, but is he worth... Okay.
Yep.
We're talking about Lachlan Galvin. Do you think they should sign him for a similar amount to what Katoa was on, which was the 600 mark, and then obviously the ratchet clause going up? Or are you just going to go and say, here's $1 million straight away to you, Lockie?
Look, I think where Lockie's at the moment with his career, I'd be looking at 600 and moving it up with incentives or ratchet clauses. But that's not the way it is these days, is it?
No.
Like that people are signing on potential because quality playmakers few and far between. The difference between Lockie and Isaiah is that even when Lockie turns into a really experienced elite playmaker, he will always just, in my opinion, be a 6 or a 13. He will, although terrific footballer, he's not going to be a 7. In my opinion, Lockie's never going to be that bloke who's going to steer the side around the park, put the polish on the end of sets of 6 with kicking. Katoa is exactly that type of player.
We did a mock draft around the DCE and the halfback, and DCE, Jerome Hughes, Cleary, who was the fourth one, Brian? But he was top 5. We've got him currently top 5 as a halfback at that age, so that's huge.
Yeah. Well, you put him into put him into one of the top clubs. No offence to Dolphins at the moment, but Dolphins have been really struggling, and struggling for their attacking formations have been bad. But mate, he's been a standout. Like every week when myself and Cooper of the Cronk variety get there and we do that show, every single week we're showing Isaiah Katoa clips just showing how good he is, his poise and his ability to tell a lie with the football. Like he's featured on it more than anyone in a side that's been pretty much been terrible really up until last week.
I tell you what, Matty, we had Sean the Trader on yesterday, and Bears Head and I asked the question to both of them. So currently Penrith $9 equal to the Bulldogs with Sportsbet. What are you really gambling with? Who is the more likely, in your opinion, to win the comp from here?
Penrith.
Oh.
I still, my gut feel is Penrith because you're talking Isaiah, you're talking Cleary, and all those blokes who've got experience. Like Dogs, I would not be surprised. Dogs got. Look, it would surprise me if they win the comp. That would be an enormous leap for the Dogs. But I still think to win the comp, I still reckon, boys, to be really at that elite, they're going to win those big end-of-season games against teams like with Nathan in still 12 months, I'd reckon. Top 4 for the Bulldogs will be an extraordinarily good season. And at the start of the year, they'll about 4 or 5 to 1 to be top 4, which I thought was too short. Well, they're $1.63 now. But
it's defensively
of the two, look, it wouldn't surprise me, Penrith versus Dogs on the big day. But Penrith, boys, down the track, halfway through the season, I can guarantee we'll be all saying, we should have gone on the Panthers at 9 to 1. Like, as soon as they have the next win, they're going to shorten.
Yep.
And the more they win, they're going to continue to shorten up. And the bottom line is, I think at the moment there are desire issues as far as they got to get on top of. But I've seen this before with, top line sides that that have won competitions in a row. A lot of times they start slow, and Penrith have done that in seasons before where they've won competitions. They lost to Wigan, they lost the first couple of rounds, they lost the first two a few years back. They're not in foreign territory, right? They've lost 4 in a row, but look at the quality of the team. Once they start to win, and in my opinion, all they got to do, boys, is get into the top 8. They don't need to worry, in my opinion, about top 4. Top 4 is a bonus. Just get themselves into the 8 and they can win it from there.
Blaze Solangi, number 6.
Yeah.
That could be the key, Brian.
The thing that worries me is defensively. Like, they've been averaging close to 30 points. Like, they just seem to be...
Outside backs, they're juggling on a lot. It's hard.
Yeah. I know, but
see, this is it. See, this is exactly what we're talking about. If you're leaking points in defence and you're a team like Penrith, right, a quality... Well, if you're leaking points, that's evidence. It's desire. There's desire issues there. On top of that, I will say this is that the new generation of player that is coming in at Penrith weren't exposed to Cameron Ciraldo's defensive principles. Like, Ciraldo's been away from the club now; it's his 3rd year away. But all those teams that went 4 in a row, all those players, they learnt the defensive principles off Cameron Ciraldo. Now, what we're seeing, what is Cameron Ciraldo is doing at the Bulldogs, is how good he is defensively, how well he teaches defence, and so that's a challenge for Ivan.
Matty, we'll leave you with this from X-Ray Josh. Thanks, boys. I was ready to watch finale of White Lotus tonight, but Matty's ending is by far the most believable.
Well,
you've got problems.
Is it? Is it, Josh?
Good on you, Matty. We'll catch you soon, mate.
See you,
Good
Matthew.
on you, lad.
What, you're still here? Well, you can see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio, you beautiful humans.